obviously people, it's human nature for people to make assumptions, yeah, because we are brought up in a certain set of values and a set of traditions in a culture. There is, you know, very widespread, as in depending on where you live, how affluent your family might be or not, where geographically you live as well, there will be some social constraints to how you see life, with how you see the things that present themselves to you. So the moment that someone walks through a door, straight away we have a set number of data, that we understand, because that's how we've learned to compute information very, very quickly. And in fact, there's a lot of theories around when people introduce themselves, and I'm guilty of that. I don't know any of your names because I was more bothered to look at, you know, who are these people? It's human nature. We all do that. So then there's a layer of information that we don't see, because there's information that you can't pick up from what you see in front of you. And of course, that's where identity plays a really, really important role, both from a sexual orientation point of view and from a gender identity point of view. Now, I talk about them two together because I think it's very important to, first of all, to distinguish them, because they are two separate issues that we need to address, but sometimes they can also be intrinsic because they are to do with sexuality, and they also, everyone can have a gender identity and a sexual orientation, and regardless of what those are, the two everyone have got, but the other area of commonality that they both have is that unless the person, the individual, discloses that information, we don't have any guarantee. Which of course means that, on the other hand, there's no data. So any statistic, even what you've been presented today, is all very, well, I wouldn't say ludicrous, but you know, it can be misconstrued, because if you track back to the last, well, the only statistic that has ever been released officially by the government of the UK is that 1 in 10, or about between 6 and 8% of the population is either gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender. That statistic was taken from the last census, so in 2001, and they looked at the number of dwellings, so houses, with the same, with two people of the same gender living together. And then out of that, they extrapolated a percentage that they felt was appropriate. But of course, that doesn't take into account the fact that there might be two friends living together, not in a relationship. Those that can be in a relationship but not living together are not counted in. Those people that identify as bisexual and maybe will be in a monogamous relationship and not acting upon their sexual orientation, you know, that wouldn't be counted in. And of course, you know, even from a transgender point of view, that issue of who you live with might not have anything to do at all, you know, with you know, your gender identity. So you can see that it is really, really hard to get that information. On top of that, there's the fact again that is to do with identity. So it is to do with how you identify yourself, how you label yourself. And when it comes to, for example, people that might identify as bisexual, if you are in a relationship, you might, at that point, define yourself as heterosexual, because if you are in a relationship with someone of the opposite gender, or if you are in a relationship with someone of the same gender, you might identify or be seen more as gay.